welcome. I'm Mayor Gary Sulz, and with me today is Stephen DeRousie, Fire Chief of the Revelstoke Fire Department. Today, Stephen and I are talking about the steps you can take to prepare for prolonged excessive heat and wildfire smoke events. So, Stephen, we all love the warm days of summer when we can enjoy a swim in the lake or around a golf. But when the warm days, like we are having now here in August, turn into really hot weather with little or no rain, it's a different story. Our houses begin to heat up and there are wildfires nearby. The air gets smoky and oppressive. And what we're seeing now really isn't any fun for any of us. And it's
Absolutely.
really hard to breathe. So, do we want to talk about, where we're at with heat and smoke, how it can affect people's health, and really what we should do to help mitigate that?
For sure. Everyone is affected by wildfire smoke, whether you're healthy or otherwise. It's important to remember to monitor ourselves, especially in the heat. The heat and the smoke can affect us, our cardiovascular systems. People that have pre-existing conditions are more susceptible, but certainly we need to monitor ourselves when we're out and about. People have conditions like chronic pulmonary obstructive disease,
Right.
COPD, we
Yep.
probably know it better by that, are far more affected. So people should definitely talk with their healthcare providers and make sure that they have a plan. And especially if people use any kind of rescue medications, make sure you have a supply and carry it with you if you're out and about. That's another good thing to make sure. And I think if someone presents any symptoms, especially for heat stroke or heat exhaustion, some of the symptoms can be nauseous, dizziness, a loss of consciousness, those sorts of things. We really need to monitor ourselves, be realistic, and recognize when we start to feel overwhelmed by the heat and the smoke and that. And certainly, if someone does present symptoms, that would be a 911 call. That's an emergency.
Okay, good. That's good for, I was just going to say, what do? We notice that. Basically, 911, get those people to care.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
And so, when we talk about rescue inhalers, that sort of thing, so I want to take that one step further. Those who have angina or chronic heart problems carry nitro, they want to make sure that they have that with them. The rescue inhalers for those who are experiencing asthma or have that sort of thing, or some sort of respiratory issue. And we always tend to look to our seniors as being the ones that are going to be in peril. And rightfully so, but I also want to make sure that those who are active and out on the pathways and whatnot to just pay attention to their own health as well, even though those folks are usually in incredibly good shape, but we want to make sure that they stay in good shape, because we're seeing that our air quality here is less than optimal. So.
Yeah. Some of the things that people who are, you mentioned the elderly, but there's far more too. People who, infants, for example,
Right.
They're much more sensitive to wildfire smoke and heat. There are a variety of other, I've got a list here somewhere. People who are pregnant, and children as well, elderly for sure, but certainly, and you can monitor those if you find you're starting to get a really dry throat, more phlegm buildup, that sort of stuff, difficulty breathing. Those are signs that maybe we need to slow down and take it a little bit more easy. Find a cool place in the shade, and definitely drink some water. Hydration definitely helps with those symptoms.
Yeah, I think those are prudent things. We're seeing more people wearing masks outside now because of the smoke, and they're doing what they can to prevent issues within themselves. But we all want to look at this from a community perspective. We're here to support each other and help each other. We know that the wildfires are getting worse in areas a little further distant from us, but the Highland Creek fire is in our neighborhood. We're getting the effects of the smoke from that.
For sure.
And so we want people to just pay attention and look at how they can maintain their quality of life the best they can. So really, how can our citizens find relief if they're affected by the prolonged temperatures or the wildfire smoke?
Well, you mentioned the N95s.
Right.
Those are particulate masks. A well-fitting N95 is good for the wildfire smoke. The surgical masks are not approved by WorkSafe, for example. So if you're outdoors working, definitely make use of an N95 respirator to protect yourself from those particulates. Some of the things that people can do are definitely plan ahead. These sorts of events are occurring more and more often. They're lasting longer, and they're likely to begin lasting longer into the fall season. So we're going to end up seeing longer events. So definitely planning ahead. People identify a cool place in your home. The lower levels in your home are going to be cooler. So if you have a bedroom in the basement, that's a great place to find some cool space. If you have air conditioning, use that. Make sure it's tuned up and working properly before the summer heat comes along. Use HEPA filters to take some of that smoke particulate out of the air in your home. That's another option. There's a number of things that people can do out in the community as well. Find a place that you can go that has cool and filtered air, for example. The Revelstoke Community Center, the Aquatic Center, staff have set up a cooling space there for people who need to go and find a cool spot out of the heat. There's also a pool there, and there's also a fantastic indoor water slide. That's a lot of fun, and so people can go. That's at 600 Campbell Street for people who are new to town or visitors. Other places and opportunities could include catching a movie at the Roxy Theatre. A lot of the churches have air conditioning, places like that. Public spaces that you can go. There's the library. There's the Revelstoke Museum. You can go learn about Revelstoke's history there. A number of other places that lots of shops and eateries in Revelstoke that are cool, have filtered air, and there's some great food. So those are things that people can do out and about in the community. Find a spot that you can cool down.
Yeah, thanks for that, Stephen. And this is Revelstoke, and for us here in Revelstoke that have been here for quite a while, we know that if there's someone out on the street that's visiting, they're in distress, reach out to, if you're going past a shop, reach out to those people. They're going to help. That's what Revelstoke's about. We're all about making sure people are taken care of in our community. For the residents of the community, they're aware that these places are available, but also we want to make it well aware that Interior Health is putting out statements on a regular basis regarding heat and how to mitigate it from the health perspective. Sometimes seniors don't have access to computers to see that sort of thing, so they could call us, they could call the fire hall to ask questions if the need be. However, Interior Health is pretty good about getting that information out as to what's going on in our particular neighborhood. So I just want people to be aware of that. And so, really, is there any other suggestions how people can prepare for these events before they happen? So you mentioned about making sure the air conditioners are tuned up, that sort of thing. If they're in a house that has cool air, maybe a fan to blow that around, or the HEPA filter fans, those sorts of things. Anything else that you feel is really prevalent for people to just kind of keep things in the back of their mind?
Absolutely. The first thing that I would recommend people do is to sign up for the notification system so that you're ready before the season happens, so that you will get those alerts.
So through the alertable system?
Yes. Yeah. So it's people can get that at alertable.ca. It's a smartphone app. It also works on your computer if you don't have a smartphone. And you can set the location for Revelstoke. You can also tell it to follow you. So no matter where you are in Canada, this alertable app will actually notify you of events, advisories, warnings, and actual emergencies and evacuation alerts, evacuation orders, those sorts of things. And so that's one of the best ways that people can get that early notification when there is something happening. Environment Canada and Climate Change also has their Weather Can app, and that they provide all the advisories for the air advisories, air quality advisories, the weather events. We've got a weather storm watch on right now. It's coming down from up north, and it's just going to slip right past us, so we're hopefully going to be on the edge of it. But you get all those notifications to just let you know what's happening well in advance of any event. So yesterday we got a notification that there was a thunderstorm advisory, and so people can start to prepare a good day in advance of these events coming. So that's one way to plan ahead. And the City of Revelstoke emergency management page would be our official notification of we put up our notices on that. We don't have anything right now, which is great.
Right.
Revelstoke's been really, really fortunate this year. We haven't had to have any emergency evacuation alerts or notices that many other communities have had already this year. So we're very fortunate for that, but people should sign up to be notified so that they can plan ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think that's really prudent to be able to do that. But also, if you're out and about now, make sure you have snacks, water, that sort of thing in your car if you're driving around, or if you're on the highways traveling. We don't know when roads will be closed or some sort of event will come up. Right. Make sure that you're safe, and really want to emphasize as we go through the summer, this is getting to be a regular occurrence here in Canada, definitely here in BC. And I know that having been involved in emergency support services for several years, the more we get into these months of summer and that heat event, August seems to be when it hits us the strongest, where there's more smoke in the air, there's more heat for that prolonged period of time, as you say. Mm-hmm. So people just do what you can to make sure you're taken care of, your family's taken care of, and take the time to watch out for your neighbors.
Yeah, and these sorts of events don't just happen in the summer with heat and smoke. We have our fall. We've seen a lot of flooding events.
Right.
So there's some advanced planning that can be done. We've got winter that comes along. We've got the cold temperatures and the snowstorms. Spring, we have more flooding events. So being prepared and planning ahead for all kinds of events is a really great thing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think, we don't want to make people unavoidably afraid because of events that are going on, right. But just give information so people can prepare. And if you're prepared, let's hope we never have to use that sort of preparation. So that's good. Yeah. Stephen, thanks for coming in today. Heat and wildfire smoke events seem to be happening more frequently, especially these past few years. And it's important to be prepared and reduce any harmful effects these occurrences may cause. Thanks as well to our audience for listening in. Be sure to take a few minutes to watch all of our videos on City Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram accounts. And again, thank you all for watching today. And Stephen, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.